Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It is Monday the 27th. So we are at the end of January. I hope you guys are all warm and safe and happy and all the things. We are defrosting from snow in Louisiana. It was fun while it lasted, but it's gone now. So we're good. We are good. A few key things that I wanted to point out. And then we are going to work. Okay. Because I don't know about you. I had a kid home, I had a husband home, like all the things last week kind of went out the window. So like Monday, back to focusing and what we need to get done. I actually had a very strategic and busy, I guess it was Friday. And it was it was a good booster to my, oh, see, this does work. When I actually sat down and was messaging and following up and all the things, I followed up with some customers who had turned their subscriptions off. And we had wonderful conversations. And they were like, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I didn't need this yet. Can you help me order now? And so I don't know about you. You can raise your hand or not, or comment or not. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I create all kinds of fabulous stories in my brain about how people don't want to message me back because XYZ and they think I'm annoying and oh my gosh, like what have I done? Like you create all of these what Bob Hyland would call red light stories in your brain, and it kind of sidelines you from getting stuff done. Right. Karen's like, yeah, and then you don't. Then you don't message because you're like, well, they don't want to hear from me or, all the things. So this week proved to me, yes, people want to hear from us. Yes, that's why they partnered with us so that we could help walk with them with their goals, right? And everything that they had in their brains for, yes, this is why I wanted to get started and why I'm partnering with you because you're going to help lead me and guide me and support me in all of the things. So I want to encourage you, whatever it is you need to say to yourself about people need what we have. And if they said yes once and they placed an order, they want to hear from you. They want the follow-up. They want the support. And if, you know what, if you're checking in and they're like, I don't know if I loved the restore, working through that with them and why the detox is so important and learning what it's doing for your body and all of those things. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a conversation that needs to be had. So all of that to be said, the next few days as we're working on, goals, I really want you to shift that focus, turn the mirror from you, like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me? Or why are they ghosting me? And turn it and make it about them. I am going to reach out to them so that I can love, support, encourage, whatever the case might be for them. And then one of the other things I wanted to hit on, we just finished up a challenge. There was a whole bunch of teams that merged together for a challenge. No matter if you did it or not, one thing that I was reminded of that I really wanted to point out is whether it's a challenge or you have an accountability partner or a running buddy or whatever you call it, accountability is where it's at. And I don't know about you, if I don't write down a goal and then I miss the goal, I let myself off the hook because I'm like, well, I kind of knew I wasn't going to hit it anyway, but I didn't write it down. I didn't tell anybody. So it's okay, right? You just kind of sweep it under the rug and move on. Am I the only one? But if you have a planner and it has a date and a deadline and you're like, this is going to happen by this day, and you write it down and then you told somebody and you guys are working on that together, then as you're getting closer, you're like, oh gosh. And it would be the difference between I'm just going to sit back these next 4 days and nobody knows, so it's okay. And I'm not going to do I'm not going to push myself. Or ready, set, go. Like we've got some work to do and this is what this work is going to be. So if you don't have an accountability buddy, or if you are not writing down your goals, at least for yourself, where you're setting that goal and setting that deadline, I want to encourage you. And when I finished this challenge, I was back to my Fitness Pal, logging in what I'm eating. And then I'm like, oh gosh, I have to log in what I'm eating. And it doesn't lie. The black and white numbers, they don't lie. When I do weigh-ins and I'm watching my, weigh-in graph, going like this, if for nothing else, it's accountability to say, okay, I didn't do so hot this week, and now here's the result. So I am going to read a quote that I posted on my team page because it really struck me. It's like literally the simplest thing ever. And it says, the most successful people I know are rarely extraordinary. They do the ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Well, everyone else is getting distracted by literally everything, right? So it's not glamorous to show up and make a plan, or it's not glamorous to show up day after day after day doing the same things, following up, inviting, letting people know that we have a 3-day reset that is remarkable. Like all of those things, they're not glamorous. But if we do the extraordinary part of sharing and reaching out and following up over and over and over again, another quote that I found, to be successful at anything, you don't need to be any more talented than others. You simply must be what most people aren't, which is consistent. Right? So we see a lot of these, and we talked about it last week. You see the big rank ups, you see the big weight loss stories, you see these life transformation posts, but in the nitty gritty behind the scenes, yes, I will share them for you guys. In the nitty gritty behind the scenes, it's like, well, what does your calendar look like? How many people did you talk to? How many people know that you're doing a reset or that you have a reset that people are loving? How many people know that it's a new reset? All of those things. So really quick, I want you guys to, one last quote, and this is jumping ahead to chapter 6. Quantum leaps do happen, but only as the end result of a lengthy, gradual buildup of consistently applied effort. It's like saying the same thing. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same quote rewritten a million different ways. So I want you guys to think, if your 2025 goals are quantum leaps, if you want to 10x your health, your relationships, your business, all of the things, it is going to take the mundane tasks of knowing that every Monday we're inviting to the Meet Plexus. And that's going to be for people who have never heard about Plexus or who are brand new and need to build some belief. And every Monday, we're going to ask 3 team members to stay on for that how to earn and text. And then we're going to help them go silver. Like it's going to be rinse and repeat the same thing. And I promise you, the people who are still inviting to the Monday night Meet Plexus in 6 months are going to be the ones who are growing and ranking up versus other people saying, well, dang, this isn't working for me. But you're not on the calls and you're not inviting to the calls. And then we're getting our entire teams on the Meet Products calls on Thursdays, right? And then we're all showing up to the mastermind. So Dr. Hartman and whoever the guest is going to be can get us super excited about our formulations and the science and the why behind why our products are the best out there, right? So it's literally in the $1 VIP enrollment, free reset with 130 PV. Do you have an event to plug into? Do you have, we're just inviting and adding one. And then the add-on to this that I want everybody to remember, like we talked about last week, we are in the boat and we are rowing the boat. All of you that are here showing up consistently every Monday, you're already in the boat. You have that oar, and I want you to remember, for some of you, I am looking at you, and I know most of you personally. For some of you, you're like, this is the heaviest boat, and I am going upstream in raging waters, and I am going absolutely nowhere, right? You guys know it. You're like, singing row, row, row the boat, but you're like, okay, this, like, where is everybody, right? So I need you guys, I love a good analogy. I need you guys to think about this. When you're inviting to these Monday night calls, you are saying, who is your +1? Who is that one person that can get in the boat with you? And guess what? If they're not in the boat, they're not going to pick up an oar. But I don't want you to overthink this. We're just going to, it may or may not be for you. Can you just come get in my boat? Like, come keep me company. We'll chat a little bit about what we have going on. And then guess what? Some of them are going to be like, dang, that looks really hard. Let me help you. And they're going to start rowing the boat. They're going to pick up that oar. And that might be them joining you, or that might be them, sharing their referral link for the first time, or saying, yes, I'm ready to go silver. So I just really need you guys to think and understand about getting people into the boat and then getting people rowing the boat with you. Because I promise you, at the beginning, you're like looking around and you're by yourself and you're not going anywhere, right? And then pretty soon you see boats flying past you. You're like, what's up? How is this so easy for them? Well, they have 20 people in their boat, right? They're pushing towards their senior gold rank up, and they're all rowing together. To me, that sounds fun and exciting. And then that's when you start winning, when you have that. So if you are not inviting and you are not saying, come on, let's get in the boat, if people don't know what you have to offer, then we can't be mad about struggling, and we can't be mad about feeling like we're going to, the waves are going to knock our boat over and all of the things. So I really hope that that analogy helps. And just for a little tidbit and an add-on, the post my host yesterday from the sermon that I watched was, and Jesus is always in that boat with you. So when all else fails, at least for me, I know Jesus is helping me guide and row this boat. And in 14 years, you guys, I promise you, there's not a story that I haven't seen or felt or experienced, or I've had the most amazing momentum where my mom and I went gold, senior ruby 4 months in a row, and we didn't even know what was happening. I logged into my back office. I was like, oh, there's another rank up. Oh, there's another rank up. Like, we had people jumping in the boat and rowing so fast, we couldn't even keep up. From silver to emerald was 9 months. 9 months. And we just had, all we were doing was drinking our pink drink and telling anybody who would listen, and even the ones that didn't want to listen. We were just telling everybody. So we had that amazing momentum. Then we had a little bit of, a few people jumped out of the boat, got a little bit, raging waters, it took a little bit to get to sapphire. And then we got some more people in the boat, and we flew to diamond, flew to reentry. I'm like, this is amazing. Then we had a few, have people jump out of the boat. They found something else. I'm telling you, I could literally give you every story, and I'm still here, and I'm still smiling, and I'm still rowing, and I'll do it by myself, but it's more fun with people. So if you don't have anybody in your boat, it's time to start inviting new people. Now, the side note tidbit, and I'll stop talking. We are going to get to work. You might be inviting people for 6 months. You might be inviting people for 2 years. It could be 4 or 5 years later, and somebody that was like, dang, you're still over there in that boat rowing. And I guess I'm finally ready to jump in with you. This whole concept of being consistent, even when it doesn't look like it's paying off. Y'all go look up Emily Burgess and Tamara Holloway's journey. Tamara Holloway followed up with, loved on, and pursued Emily Burgess for 4 years. Now, I don't know about y'all. If I'm going to wait 4 years for something that incredible, bring it on. Like, I'm here for it all. I will do this till the day I die. But it took 4 years for Emily to finally say yes. And then Emily said yes, and it changed her life. And she went diamond, and she's an advisory board member and all of the things. I'm like, yes, bring on brand new diamond teams. Like, I will welcome them all with open arms. But it didn't just happen. It was 4 years of loving and nurturing and following up and pursuing. So back to the accountability piece. Do you have names written down? Do you have people that you want in the boat with you, that you are loving on and building a relationship with? Do you know who you're inviting? Do you know who you're inviting who says yes or who says no, thank you? This week isn't good, but catch me next week. All of those things. I want to encourage you guys, get some big, bold, fancy pens that make all of your life better, because you can pick the color and they write so beautifully, and write everything down. Where you are, where you want to be. You guys should be in your back office knowing that it's the 27th and tomorrow is main subscription day. Who has ordered, who hasn't, who turned their subs off. And then after tomorrow, it's game on, because then you really can see in your back office where your points are, where you want them to be, what happened, did the dust settle, are you going forward, backward, all of the things. So I really want you guys to hold, it's January. We've got plenty of time to steer this ship, right? You have to know where you are and where you want to be. And that means taking a good hard look at, for me, what does the scale say? What does my calendar say? What does my FitnessPal app say? All of the data doesn't lie. Now, our thoughts and feelings about the data is where we kind of can get derailed. And that's where we got to work on our mindset and listen to the podcast and call a friend and all of the things, right? To get us back on track, because then obviously the actions and the results are going to follow. But we can't be mad about data that shows that we aren't doing the reach outs, the follow-ups, the posting, the stories, all of the things. So for the next 15 or 20 minutes or so, we are going to rock and roll. And I want you guys to go look at, Jill Renfro did a storyline of slides for her story. this is where I was. This is how I found Plexus. Now here's where I am. I hope it didn't expire yet. Chandler Sanderson just did the same thing. Like all of these pictures from the pre-Plexus, inflammation, how puffy I was. Didn't want to do Plexus, found Plexus. Here's my wedding pictures, all of the, yes, Diamond Jill Renfro, yes. And I'll post screenshots in our chat. But Chandler did a beautiful job. And I'm like, I know Chandler. And I'm like flipping through her stories, like, how does the story end? What happens? And we all know she's drinking her pink drink and life is great, right? But it really got me thinking. I've never done a carousel slides of my story. Like I've never done that progression of here's where I was 20 years ago and here's where I was 14 years ago when I found Plexus. And like I've got, some pretty dramatic before and after pictures, right? Because then I had Hudson and gained 100 pounds. That got me from emerald to diamond, basically losing those 100 pounds and everything that went along with that. But I'm not good at, I'm like, well, everybody knows my story. Well, guess what? There's probably a lot of people who don't know my story and figuring out ways to share. So I will try to think and post some other people for you to get ideas, but we need to be posting daily, Plexus and non-Plexus, in your stories talking. Getting really good at saying, yes, I'm sitting in my car again, car line, whatever. Here's my pink drink, whatever the case might be, so people can get to know you. And then inviting. We are inviting. And I will drop some stuff for you guys, inviting to the Meet Plexus calls, inviting to the How to Earn, which is right after the Meet Plexus calls, inviting to I would just stick to inviting to the Monday calls right now. But the number of people that you invite will directly influence how many people get in the boat with you and row with you. And you better believe when I'm on every Monday night and they ask for that first giveaway question, they're like, drop in the chat. Who invited you today? I'm like, dang. I'm like, where's my name? Where's my name? I'm looking for my name in the chat for everybody that I invited that either showed up or didn't show up. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, look at these people who have like 10 guests on, right? And it's like, well, they did the behind the scenes inviting. So I want you all there tonight, Monday, 8 o'clock for Meet Plexus, same link every week. And I want you to rock and roll that chat and look for your name, for how many of your people show up, because they can say, Karen invited me, so I'm here. Shanna invited me, so I'm here. Yep, Catherine keeps inviting me. I can finally show up, so I'm here. They're going to be giveaways, and then it's going to be a quick 15 minutes. Heather, let me read that and think about your Facebook and Instagram being linked. I will look at that. And then one other thing. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? And when all else fails, do a cold plunge. Did you guys see my engaging post? I made a post and it said, first I made one for my husband. I was like, if 3 people join my team, my husband's going to do a cold plunge. And I was like, that's stupid. And so then I made a post. If I get 100 comments on this, on this post, I'll do the cold plunge. For all of you who cold plunge for health, more power to you. I am just going to tell you, when I got about waist deep, the water was 39 degrees. When I got about waist deep, it literally took my breath away. And then when I got into my shoulders, my mind went completely blank. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what my name was. And it was only like literally 3 seconds and I couldn't function. Anyway, that was super engaging. And so, yeah, now I've got lots and lots of people that I can go back and say, hey, I didn't know you paid attention, but here's what I do know. A whole bunch of people wanted to know about my bathing suit, and I sent them the link for Amazon, and you better believe they went and bought that hot pink bathing suit. So there you go. Network marketing at its finest, right? I finally figured out how to link my Amazon. So I made 66 cents when somebody bought that pink bathing suit from my link. Okay, we are getting to work. Posting stories and then names. Go get in your back office. Where are your points? Where do you want them to be? Have you unlocked your convention dashboard with your 3 enrollments? Yes. Double credits. I promise you, in 4 months, you will regret that you did not front load January with double credits. Who can you help rank up? Who can you enroll? Like all of the things for all of the double credits, rock and roll. Okie dokie. A few just quick tips when you're doing stories, make sure you're talking in your stories and then do some slides and graphics. And then always make sure there's a question box, a poll, a call to action, something where you give somebody the opportunity to say, hey, I'm watching. But you also know if you can go in the bottom left corner of a story and you can click that and you can actually see who stays and watches all of your stories. Sometimes I reach out and message them, hey, saw you following along. Just wanted to invite you to this. Sometimes I don't. But anybody who responds to a poll or drops something in the question box, that's obviously an open opportunity to start a conversation. I also sat down this week and literally just did a red light encouragement session. And I know we used to do those last year all of the time. I mean, green light. So when you're on Facebook, you can see if somebody's little green light is on, and that means they're active on Facebook right then. And I would just take a time to, hey, I hope you survived the week with snow. Did you build a snowman? I went through and just started conversations with like 15 different people, just random, not Plexus related. And so when I go through my messenger and I'm like, oh gosh, I've got like 20 new conversations, that's really encouraging, but it also is going to help, change your algorithm a little bit or bump people into feeds that you don't normally see and stuff like that. So green light encouragement is never a bad idea. Happy Monday, just checking in with people. And I would also say to just be bold. We talked about it last week. I get added to other network marketing parties and groups daily. And the ones that I just randomly get dumped into, I don't do anything with. If somebody sends me a personal invite and says, hey, Sarah, I just started, Pampered Chef. Not sure if you're interested, but I am hosting a party. Would you mind if I sent you a link? I'm like, sure, add me to your party. And when there is a personal connection or they tell me why they thought of me or how they think they could help make my life better, I listen and I usually order. So just take that as a little bit of your tip for randomly sending a, hey, thought of you, want to jump on this call on Monday, a quick message versus just hoping somebody sees it in your stories. There's definitely layers of, wanting to have that credibility and validation, but you will never, ever, ever go wrong with a personal invite. So if you've got time now, stay working. Just because we're ending the recording doesn't mean that you can't, stay working, and then figure out how you are going to hold yourself accountable, where you are, where you want to be, who you're talking to, what you're saying. I'm a paper and pen kind of gal, whether you have Google Calendar or whatever the case might be. I could probably go back 10 years of planners that I keep them all and flip through and be like, dang, I dropped the ball. Dang, I didn't follow up with them more than 2 months. Like I could probably go through all of my lists of names from all of because I have it in my planner. So thank you guys for jumping on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full days for this month to end, right? Well, 5, 4.5. So anything's possible. If you feel like, oh my gosh, where did January go? Or, oh my gosh, this is like January 57th, whatever your opinion is about January, the next 4.5 days, anything can happen. So thank you for jumping on. Keep rocking and rolling, and we'll see you guys next week.